Welcome to the Education and Empowerment Podcast. In this show, our hosts explore success and advancement through education by interviewing today's top leaders in the fields of education, business, and technology in order to provide insight into what it really takes to succeed. All right, let's get into the show.
Hi, and welcome to our podcast. My name is Bakhtiyor Isoev, and I'm your host for the show. To begin, I wanted to quickly introduce myself and share with you what helped me become successful, not just in classroom, but also outside of classroom settings. I was fortunate to be exposed to street education, so to speak. During my years as a teenager, I was involved in cycling as a hobby and running small entrepreneurial ventures, as I'd like to call them, like selling ice cream, for example, toys, and different snacks. And at that time, I learned to face a lot of rejection, which I think helped me grow my sales, communication, and interpersonal skills overall. It was at that time I began to wonder, should I continue schooling or just continue selling ice cream to make living and become successful that way? Of course, I was very young and naive. As I grew, though, I continually wondered what success means to people, to young people in particular, and how do they achieve it? My journey led me to engage in international education and youth empowerment. So for the past 15 years, I was blessed enough to be exposed to various experiences that I think shaped my desire to serve in the field of international education. My interest in youth education and empowerment expanded as I engaged in youth programming in local and international nonprofit, for-profit programs and organizations, whose mission was to help young people to become successful outside of classroom. Some of the highlights of my exploration took me to lead and implement international educational and exchange programs at International Research and Exchanges Board, called IREX, American Bar Association Rule of Law Initiative, called ABA-ROLI, iEarn USA, and many wonderful international organizations and companies. I worked with youth and young professionals, empowering them to study abroad and become successful global citizens. These experiences allowed me to gain competitive edge in student empowerment, motivation, strategic career planning, study abroad, and education in general. Years later, now, as an avid advocate for international education and exchanges, I felt like I needed to move on and to explore factors that impact young people's success. I decided to join Forstay, which is an online marketplace for student and intern housing, founded by visionary entrepreneurs who, like me, believe that young people's success does not depend only what's in the classroom, but rather what's outside. And I'm very excited to be part of Forstay, helping transform college and university housing by creating a home away from home, which is such an integral part of campus life, and setting young people up for success. What attracted me to Forstay is that, like me, founders Akobir Azamovich and Faridun Nazarov came to United States to pursue their education. One of the greatest challenges they faced as students were finding housing. Dorms were full or too expensive. Apartment managers wanted to lock them in a one-year lease, and classified web pages were insecure. Off-campus roommate matching was a disaster. Guess what? Hundreds and thousands of students and interns are still going through the same challenges. They seized the opportunity to help students one by one, and doing it the hard way, offline. By the time of its inception, the founding team helped more than 10,000 students in 15 different states that represented more than 30 countries. On a broader scale, though, Forstay is connecting students and interns with local hosts, room providers, and roommates near their desired destination. As an online resource, students and interns looking for off-campus housing, Forstay is creating positive economic ecosystem that is transforming the matchmaking process of student housing rentals. At Forstay, we believe that we are creating possibilities for our students, schools, hosts, workplaces, campuses, and cities. Forstay shares community core vision values, and we're driven by the notion that our future belongs to those who stay together and share together. Through these values, we hope others find stays they can call home. We believe that home is the center of all the great things. We believe that technology will transform the way student housing and housing in general is carried out. We exercise our values in our daily life, and at Forstay, we strongly value selfless service to community, being innovative and entrepreneurial, thinking outside of the box to serve our community, especially during these difficult times. And this year, we wanted to do each of these things. At Forstay, we constantly connect with inspiring students, interns, young professionals, as well as college and university leaders that are so passionate about young people's prosperity. We wanted to find a way to begin connecting all of these successful, strong, like-minded individuals and organizations. During unprecedented times, organizations and companies and individuals could benefit from education and empowerment. In our conversations, we revealed that some schools and companies doing better than others, so we decided to empower them through creating a platform which we hope will allow these organizations and schools to share their knowledge and wisdom for the purpose of benefiting others, of course. And here we go. The idea for the podcast was born. Now, we're creating this podcast to share wisdom, insights, and stories of success and failure. By engaging with top leading experts, we hope to explore the challenges and opportunities that young people encounter. I'll be, as your host, interviewing people from different range of disciplines, degrees, business communities, academics, scholars, entrepreneurs, innovators, and others. The goal, though, is to explore what it really takes, perhaps skills, maybe mindset or experience, or any other things that are needed to empower young people for success. You're going to get a lot of useful and practical advice based on real people's stories and how to succeed both as a student, young professional, or beyond. We hope to share tips and tricks that are important to consider, and by the end, you'll be motivated and inspired by a range of insights and stories across the world. On this note, I'd like to thank Forstay founding team, mentors, advisors, for believing in us and for Forstay to sponsor this wonderful opportunity to connect the dots for the young people, and for caring so deeply about young people's success and prosperity. Hey, if you know anyone inspirational that would be an ideal guest for our show, please nominate them by visiting podcast.forstay.com. Join our podcast today, and let's dive in. Thank you. See you in the show.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Education and Empowerment Podcast. This show is brought to you by Forstay, a SaaS-enabled online booking marketplace for student and intern housing. Learn more at www.forstay.com.